Great. Well, there's 7 steps that you want to take in order to boost the SEO of each of your blog posts. Obviously, you work so hard curating your images if you're in the wedding industry, putting those posts together, and it's such a shame for all of that effort to kind of go to waste to not get put on the first page of Google or high up there, when really it's just a few really simple things you can do to make sure that it's ranking higher. So the first step that you want to take to add SEO to your Squarespace blog posts is you want to name the title accordingly. So here I'm in Squarespace on the back end of our free training section on our site on crimbrands.com, and you'll see up here is the title. So there's really a couple of things you want to do in this first step of adding an SEO-friendly title. You want to add an adjective, and you want to add descriptive or geographic keywords, as well as a number. Those 3 things are going to help you have a more winsome, clickable title, but then it's also going to help you rank higher. So let's go through this and break it down a little bit. So you see I've got the number 1 thing you need to know about WordPress versus Squarespace. So this is actually the live video that I did. I'm losing track of my days. Was it yesterday or the day before? But anyhow, just to make the headline a little bit more compelling, I have added a number. Anytime you add a number, it's going to boost your credibility and show that it's more of a facts-based type of article. So if it's any sort of educational tips or tutorial-based blog post that you're adding on your site, be sure to throw in a number, and that's going to increase the amount of clicks you get. Now the second part of naming this title is you actually want to include some keywords, things that people would be searching on Google. Google's going to actually rank whatever you put in your title highest and kind of sift through in terms of figuring out what your content is. So here I've got WordPress versus Squarespace, which I think is something people search for quite a bit when they want information on that. But if you're in the wedding industry, or if you're any type of maker that's doing something that's geographically tied, then consider adding in your keywords in the title as well. So for example, you could add in the venue name where the wedding was done, the city or the state where the restaurant was, or whatever it is that it is you're blogging about. You want to add in geographic terms if it's applicable. So obviously in this case it's not. So we're done with step 1, which is add the title that's going to be SEO friendly. So step 2 is you want to add blog post content. So that would be images, text. Here you can see I've got an image up here, some text down here, and then I have my video here. But the important thing to remember is that even if you're doing a blog post that contains a video, or maybe the content is mostly images, it's really important that you have accompanying copy on that blog post. So here you'll see I've got quite a bit of text. Even though I'm detailing a lot of this in the video, for SEO purposes, it's really important that Google can actually see there's text written out and content, and it's not just purely images or video. So as a rule of thumb, try to make sure each of your blog posts is 300 words or more. And then as you write those 300 words or more, which by the way, I mean, it's really not that hard to do, so I think it's totally worth the effort to write 300 words about the beautiful images you're posting or whatever it is you're blogging about. But as you're writing that, try to naturally incorporate keywords. So don't try to stuff your posts with keywords. Like sometimes you might see at the bottom of a post, someone might just have a whole string of comma-separated keywords right in their post body. It's not a tag or a category or anything, but they're just doing what's called stuffing. That's something you really want to avoid, and instead, you want to try to write your little article or post with those keywords right in it. So you'll notice here, just naturally it came up, WordPress, Squarespace, Showit, Wix. Those are going to be keywords people are looking for. Website, platform, maybe content management system would be another type of keyword I can include just organically in the body of this post. So that's the second step, is write a post with 300 words or more and then incorporate natural keywords into that. Okay, so let's talk about step number 3. We're almost halfway there, guys. This is really simple to add SEO to your blog posts on Squarespace. Step number 3 is tags. So if you see down here in Squarespace, there's a little section at the bottom of tags and categories. Now, to give you an idea of what the difference is, if you're not familiar with the difference between tags and categories, a category would be like the container you're storing your content in. So you're organizing your content in different containers. So because of that, you really don't want to, put your post in more than 1 to 2 categories. But tags, now this is where you can get away with more, and this is where you can actually tell Google more about the content that it's indexing for you. So with tags, I would recommend that you put 4 to 6 phrases, and a fancy term for that is long tail keywords. That just basically means a complete phrase that someone's going to be sitting down and typing into Google. So tags is where you want to add those 4 to 6 phrases. So here for this particular post, you can see I have WordPress versus Squarespace. What is the best CMS for business? The difference between WordPress and Squarespace. So those are just some examples of things that I think people would be sitting down and typing into Google in order to find the content that I've created for them. So make sure you're adding 4 to 6 of those tags. Step number 3 to boost the SEO of your blog post is to go through in your images and add what's called alt text. Now, if you come from a WordPress background, you might be familiar with the meta and some of the different options that are in their content management system. But with Squarespace, it's actually super simple, and I love this because I feel like people actually take advantage of this tool as opposed to just being overwhelmed by all of the meta and SEO possibilities in WordPress. So here's an example of how I added the optional file name here, and this is SEO and Pinterest friendly. So this doubles as both the caption that's going to show up on Pinterest if someone were to pin this image, as well as including keywords that are going to tell Google what image it's looking at so it can actually index the image according to what it is. Because Google can't, well, I guess they're developing some technology to help them be able to read images, but really with Google, you want to provide this alternate file name, at least in 2017, to tell it what it's looking at specifically. So my optional file name I added was how to figure out if WordPress or Squarespace is best for your business by, and then of course I put the credit. Since this could potentially be on Pinterest, we want to make sure also the photographer gets credit for this beautiful flat lay image that I used in this post. So that is step number 4, add images with the alt title for SEO in Pinterest. Step number 5 is going to be you're going to put it in one of those buckets in one of the categories. So here I've just put it in website. For you, that could be real weddings, it could be jewelry, depending on what your business is. Try to figure out what are the 6 categories that I want to be blogging about regularly or posting content about. And then step number 6 to boost the SEO of your Squarespace blog post is to flip over from content to options. So I'm going to toggle over to options, and we're going to change the post URL. So this has actually already been done for this particular post, but what Squarespace is going to automatically do is throw in your blog post date. It's going to look something like this. It's going to put that before the rest of your title. And so to improve your rankings, just one quick little thing you can do is just delete that autofill date and then just have your SEO friendly title, cut and paste it here. So let me show you how this works. You can actually just cut and paste this title we added here and delete this, and then you can just hit paste, and it's actually going to automatically switch out the spaces to dashes. So that takes a split second and it will boost your SEO. Now, one thing to note on this is I would not recommend you go back and you change post URLs of old posts that you have, old archives, and the reason is that those links could be living elsewhere online, and maybe someone has saved them on Pinterest, emailed them to friends, etc. So you don't want to break those links essentially, but I would say going forward, this is kind of best practice to go ahead and make that post URL so it goes immediately to your keyword-rich title instead of being prefaced with the date. So step number 7, very last one, this is all super simple, like I said. You're going to just add a thumbnail image here and then add your excerpt down here. And for the excerpt, what I like to do that really just streamlines this even more is I will just go in and cut and paste maybe my first paragraph or two and put that as the excerpt, because if you followed the earlier step I mentioned about writing those 300 words of content that include SEO keywords, then when you go ahead and cut and paste this, it should already have that if you've completed that step. So those are the 7 steps that I would recommend you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to showing me. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and type those below. For those of you that are just joining us, we've been chatting about how to increase the SEO, the search engine optimization of your blog posts on Squarespace. If you didn't catch all of this, you can catch the recording. I'm going to post it to my Instagram profile when this is done. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions about blogging, about how to do something on Squarespace, I would be more than happy to go ahead and walk you through that or attempt to answer your question.